Bullhorn's own research found that 66% of placed candidates already existed inside of the agency's database. They just couldn't find them, or at least they didn't know where they were. The problem isn't your ATS. It's what's not in it. Here's a tech stack that fixes that. We work with thousands of recruiting agencies, boutique search, executive search, and even staffing firms across different vendors like Bullhorn, Vincere, Crelate, Loxo, and many more. This is what we see working. What we're going to chat about is what a modern recruiting tech stack actually looks like, how to evaluate which ATS fits your agency type, and the AI layer that makes your ATS 10 times more useful, and what to avoid. What we see across the stack today is there's a couple different categories that typically make the most sense for teams based on the type of business you run. So if you're an enterprise or high volume team, systems like Bullhorn, Avionté might be perfect for you. And typically when you have 50 or more recruiters, complex workflows and more. For more of those mid-market boutique type firms, systems like Vincere, Crelate, or Loxo tend to make a ton of sense. So if you have 10 to 15 recruiters, maybe more the executive search or boutique search side of things. If you're lean and growing, recommendations that we've seen from our clients today are systems like TopEchelon, RecruiterFlow, or Firefish. And if you are more a legacy system, usually Zoho Recruit tends to make a lot of sense there as well. The competitive advantage that we see doesn't come from your ATS. Every agency on your street has one. What separates the top firms is the quality inside of that database. And really, that's where most agencies are losing. There are 3 categories of AI tools that recruiters are adding to their tech stack. Most of them, though, are solving the wrong problem. Everybody and their dog knows that an AI note taker is revolutionary. It can record things like video calls, take notes, but typically it's built for sales teams or teams that do the majority of their conversations over video calls. But that doesn't usually work for recruiting workflow, right? There's no ATS integration. There's no recruiting specific templates. And typically it misses the phone entirely. The interesting thing that we see looking at our thousands of customers today is that 91% of recruiting conversations happen over the phone. The other 9% are typically about 5% for video calls, the other 4% for in-person meetings. And so if you're finding a tool that might work for you, but it's missing your key channel, we're obviously missing the majority of the context that you or your team is having. The second category that we see are things like sourcing and outreach tools. So think of things like a Source Whale, Talent, things like that too. So these help you find new contact and candidate information. The problem though, is what we're seeing is that they're just doing a different job entirely, right? They fill the top of your funnel. They give you new folks that you can speak with, but they don't fix what's actually happening after that conversation. So again, incredibly helpful, finding new candidates, sourcing their information, reaching out to them too. Some of them do offer some all-in-one type tools there as well. The biggest thing we always recommend is make sure you try before you buy and try a couple of different vendors to find the one that makes the most sense for you. The third category that we're seeing teams use is recruiting workflow automation tools. So something like CoRecruit. This is an assistant that is able to join any single call that you're doing, no matter what channel. So that can be phone calls, video calls, in-person meetings, even calls using your personal device, which we know is actually the most common. This automatically updates your ATS after that call. So again, those platforms like Bullhorn, Loxo, Spott, Vincere, and more. And not just notes. This could be things like detailed context to the notes based on the type of call that you just had, the activity or action types to help with your KPI tracking reporting, updating fields on that candidate record, and much more. Even best yet, not just giving you that updated ATS after that call, which is that source of truth that we want to make sure we're keeping updated too. This can also generate the first draft of things like submittals or profiles, executive summaries, follow-up emails, job descriptions, and more. This is the only category that actually fixes the data hygiene problem that teams are running into. even talking to customers of ours like Justin Doyle from Direct Recruiters, the piece that was missing from other tools is actually generating that summary that's automatically added right into the name record inside of our ATS. That piece was huge for us.
If I could sum up my experience of CoRecruit in one sentence, I would say we've been presented with a cutting edge tool that is transforming the recruiting process and has increased our speed to be able to present candidates and close business to fill positions effectively.
This ensures that when you're going to fill roles in the future, you can look to your internal database first to find those high fit quality candidates that you already have context on. Because we know that if you're able to source that candidate from your database, your likelihood to place that candidate increases by 25%. Your time to submit gets cut drastically, and it's a more profitable placement for you because you're not double spending on these candidates that you already found. So let's walk through what this looks like in practicality. So I'm a consultant or recruiter making a phone call. CoRecruit's able to join that call automatically through things like our mobile app or calling directly from an ATS record using our Chrome extension. Right when that call is done, you just need to hang up. All your summary of your notes, drafts of any of the follow-up material, and even things like fields are automatically pushed directly back into your ATS. Zero manual entry. The database stays clean, searchable, and current. Because what we find, again, from the start of this video, is that 66% of placed candidates already lived inside of your database. They were just getting sourced again. So now you can actually find them because you have real searchable data that these platforms are able to find. And what we hear even from Kelly Robinson from PKR is that my team was doing all this manually before. Now it just does it. It updates directly into the status we need for that specific job.
For me, this is huge. For the recruiters, they do it during their phone interview, so it records it for them. It fills out their pre-screen because we set that up in advance, like the template, to make sure. It's just so much easier for them. It saves them so much time. It removes the whole procrastination piece.
To even clients of ours like Brian, who's the managing partner in another firm, found that what used to take them 30 to 45 minutes per candidate now gets done automatically for them. The proof is in the pudding, and the proof is in your placement revenue after these searches. So 3 questions that you should be evaluating when you're looking at any AI tools inside of the recruiting space for you today is number 1, does it work for phone calls, not just video calls? Most tools don't, and if you're recruiting, most of your time is done over the phone, so this is a need to have for you. Point number 2 for your evaluation, does it push directly to my ATS, or do I still have to copy and paste notes in, update fields, and more? Notes that you have to copy are not being automated. They're just a lighter version of that same problem, and we still see we are not getting that data in there consistently until you actually automate that process for your team. And point number 3, is this built specifically for third-party recruiting or an adapted tool from a generic sales note taker? This is where the proof meets the pudding here. The actual templates, the actual technology, the actual logical workflows, this should match how your team actually recruits. So if you're already on Bullhorn, Vincere, Crelate, Loxo, TopEchelon, or more, and you want to see exactly how CoRecruit connects to your specific setup, book a 30-minute demo, and we'll show you the live integration with your ATS. Links in the description below.